So, in your life, there will be a time that the pressure builds up so much that you would have to ask yourself, what is this all for? Why am I created for this thing? And who do I believe created me for this thing? And those are important questions. It's almost like saying, why am I who I am? And the only one that could really answer that for you is within you. Believe it or not. If you believe in Jesus, Jesus said the same thing. If you really need me to pull up scripture, DM me, make a comment, and I'll make a video about that scripture for you. So you can see Jesus said the same thing. That's what it means by pick up your cross and follow me. Either way, sooner or later, right, you're going to get the pressure of finance where you don't have enough, or you were hoping for this one thing to come through and it didn't come through. Right? You got to wake up and realize that, though you see a future, that future never comes. Not 1 second, not 1 minute, not one iota of your future that you envision in your mind reveals itself in that sense. You may end up in that future place you wanted to visit, but things aren't going to go the way you planned. It's not going to be as you expected it. One day you're going to wake up and realize that the intent behind everything is the real problem. It's not about the flesh or blood. It's about the intent within that flesh and blood that pursues or pushes whatever they're trying to sell you. Be it that information, products, anything. One day you're going to ask yourself, why would they lie? Because why they perceive it to be true is a given. And we all know this given. For profitability. Everything in our world is for profitability. Everything. From homeless people to alcoholics to drug addicts to everything is for profitability. Proof is just thinking about what you need as a necessity. And then seeing that necessity and then looking at everything in our world that makes profit, and what does that have to do with our necessity? Right? And each and every one of us is going to wake up sooner or later to your truth, to your individual truth. Be it you got there by a holy book, be it you got there by circumstances and alone time, be it you got there by meditation, whatever your route is, your route. And once we all start seeing from history, religions, to everything that's written down is maybe true to the concept of the person who wrote it down. But sometimes in a lot of our writings, that person that wrote it down is so far removed from that writing, you can't take their word for it. Don't believe anything that you can't prove yourself. And that's honesty. Don't believe in nothing that you can't prove yourself. If you claim to be a Christian or any other religion and you walk it in pride and you're preaching it to everybody, then 100% know the roots of everything you are, so you can explain it in the long run. Period. Because that's what people are waiting for. Someone to explain it to the root of the issue, to the root of the story, to the root. Right? Stop staying in your little small ass world, in this big ass world that we live in, and really venture out. If you have an enemy, learn that enemy. Learn the enemy. Why wouldn't you? Right? Why wouldn't you learn that enemy? How else are you going to defeat that enemy unless you learn that enemy? Most people don't learn the enemy because they're scared of becoming that enemy, or reflections on you're studying that enemy and realize that enemy is just you. Right? When you look in the mirror, you're looking at what the world has made you through education, through influence, through discipline by parents and other authoritative figures. All these things shaped who you think you are. And now you have to peel that stuff away and figure out who you are to the core of you. No matter what that may be, believe it or not. No matter what that may be, right? It says in the Bible, the Creator created the darkness and the light. And within the darkness, He let there be light. So, the whole yin and yang. One portrays another. Good defines evil as evil defines good. Right? And the balance in our world is an imitation balance. Like cops and robbers. That's imitation. Because the cops are just as crooked. Show me one cop that follows the speed limit. Or any speed restriction. Or anything like that. And I'll say, oh shit, maybe I'm wrong. But there's not one. No, not one of us are good. And that's the real problem, because then the world puts you in positions to think you're better or have authority over someone else, when in the grand scheme of things, the Father doesn't want kings and queens. The Creator, the source of life, He doesn't want kings and queens. He wants gods and goddesses, images of Himself. And what does that mean exactly? Well, kings and queens rule over other people. They treat people like servants. And that's not what the Father wants out of you, the Creator, the source of life. No, He wants you to be an example of Him. And that means you rule yourself. And everything else follows. Rule yourself with love, with mercy. No records of wrongdoings. Because most of the time, the records of wrongdoings are made up by somebody else through history just to get that division. To have one kid tell another kid, especially in a kid situation, schools and shit, is the biggest picking on people in the world. So you go to school, yeah, in history, I'm better than you. In history, you were lower than me. See, the history defines and depicts how we live in our society. But the crazy thing is, history is only written by the winners. I love you unconditionally. If you don't follow me yet, follow me. There's no hashtags in this video because I just speak my mind when I speak it. It's always spirit-driven, and I believe love is the foundation of everything, and truth has to be true for everyone. Can't just be true for you, can't just be true for me, has to be true for everyone. And that's why I say, if you can't prove it yourself, you can't believe it. You can't take somebody else's word for it, because the words you're trying to take from other people are just like you. And they don't know how they got here either. They don't know the secrets of life. But contrary to what most may tell you, the secrets of life is within you. If you just let go of this outside world. In the Jesus world, let go and let God. Die to thyself. Be reborn in the Spirit of God. Love, peace, freedom, wholeness, and oneness to you all.